Chapter begins and the stadium explodes with noise as Japan scores the winning goal, and fans shout and cheer while Isagi's and Bachira's parents proudly celebrate in the stands. The commentators get louder too, repeating the goal over and over and calling Isagi Japan's rising young ace after he delivers the final shot that secures Blue Lock Japan a huge victory in the first round. Isagi celebrates with joy as Bachira jumps onto him with excitement, and Corona quickly runs over to join them with a bright, happy smile. Bachira and Isagi shake hands while grinning at each other, and Bachira describes their teamwork as telepathy, saying they were perfectly in sync. Isagi laughs and says he already knew Bachira would send him that pass. Corona suddenly hops between them in excitement and praises both of them, and Isagi tells Corona that he was amazing too. A little away from them, Raichi shouts loudly to the nearby fans, bragging that his strong defending kept the other team from scoring even a single goal, trying to take some attention for himself in his usual funny style. Meanwhile, Rin watches the celebration with annoyance, and Baro pulls his hoodie over his face, muttering angrily that the whole match was irritating and horrible. Shido, on the other hand, smiles to himself and says the game actually fired him up. Bachira and Corona then start building a tiny shark-shaped tower together for fun, which makes Isagi laugh again. At that moment, Aiku walks over and casually tosses a water bottle to Isagi, asking him how much of that wild last technique he had planned beforehand. Isagi replies that he did not plan it at all, saying the final shot was completely improvised. He mentions he thought Onazi might awaken during the play, but he had no idea the shot would turn out the way it did. He explains that when Aiku blocked him earlier, something sparked in his mind and pushed him to attempt a new kind of shot on instinct. Aiku keeps a calm expression, but inside he is shocked, secretly thinking that Isagi is incredible, believing that his imagination and fast decision-making are on a different level, and even thinking that Isagi's growing ego might end up breaking Ego's entire strategy. Isagi smiles and thanks Aiku respectfully, calling him captain. Baro stays upset in the back, while Otoya comments that their side was completely shut out and crushed. Karasu, breathing heavily, thinks about how Blue Lock devoured everything during the match: their fire, his ego, Onazi's evolution, and especially Isagi, who used all the information around him to improve himself further. He watches Isagi glowing with a strong aura and wonders how he can stay so calm and sharp, calling him a terrifying machine built for soccer. Onazi agrees and says Isagi is the scariest egotist they have ever faced. He says Isagi broke the limits of their small world and calls him the ultimate player, then thanks him for allowing them to face each other today. Isagi hears him and asks if he made a good memory, and Onazi laughs but says it will not stay only a memory. With intense aura, Onazi lifts his fist and says he will surpass Isagi someday. Isagi smiles and fist bumps him, saying he wants to see even more of Onazi's ego and hopes they meet again, while Karasu looks stunned. At Germany's U20 hotel, Kaiser watches the match on TV as the commentators praise Japan's overwhelming win. Kaiser crushes a Coca-Cola can angrily and tells Isagi to stop smiling, surrounded by many empty cans. He drinks the last bit, but says he is so angry he cannot even enjoy it. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Sai finishes watching the game and casually yawns, saying they could have scored 8 goals and calling them clowns. In Spain's U20 hotel, Iglesias watches the game and recognizes Isagi from their meeting in Spain, saying Isagi is one of them with a strange smile. In France's camp, Charles asks Loki what he thinks of Japan's level. Loki looks intense and says Japan is just small fry with only passion and hype. It is then revealed that Loki is part of the new generation World 11, which surprises everyone. Charles excitedly says he wants to face players like Shido and asks if they play Japan in round 2, and Loki says yes. Loki says he personally wants to see Isagi again, to ask if he still thinks Loki is full of himself just because he was born fast, clearly still bothered by what Isagi said in the Neo-Egoist League. On the bench, a new player overhears this and asks if Isagi is really that interesting. Loki asks him what he thinks, and the new player is revealed to be Hugo, another member of the new generation World 11. Hugo calmly reads a book and says Isagi is totally unsuitable, though he does not explain why. France now has Loki, Hugo, and the master playmaker Charles, making them extremely strong.